begin our today's session with a small little prayer. Hopefully, everything is fine from your side. Sound is okay. So, we shall start with a small little prayer as usual. Yeah. Om Jnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahiyam Dadati Sapadantikam नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So today we are going to see the 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. As our discussion proceeds ahead, we have already entered into the third section, third section of Gyan Yoga of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. So, and that's name is Nature, Enjoyer and Consciousness. Yeah. Very much important and a lot of knowledge what we are going to get from this particular session. So I'm going to share with you all the slide. So here it goes. So as usual, we shall be seeing recap of the previous session, chapter overview, chapter contents, life lessons, and chapter summary. So in previous chapter, in chapter 12, that was entitled as Bhakti Yoga, the devotional service. So in that section, in the 12th chapter, we saw that Arjuna is asking question to Krishna that, "Oh Krishna, which one is better?" There are some people who actually worship personal form of Supreme, and there are some people who worship the effulgent, the light, or the unmanifested, impersonal, nirguna, having no qualities, that type of form. Which one is better? Can you please tell? So Lord Sri Krishna tells that, "Oh Arjuna, personalists are better because they very easily get attached to the personal form of mind, and in this way they progress in their progressive journey toward perfection, toward ultimate liberation, toward prema." And here Lord Sri Krishna tells for the impersonalist, progress is very difficult, very difficult. A lot of problems are there, and they reach to me after many lifetimes. At last they reach to me. So hence Sri Krishna approves this, that those who are personalist, they are better situated. Personalist means who worship the personal form of Supreme Godhead rather than impersonal form. Then in second section we saw bhakti, or the act of yoga, the bhakti yoga for the personalist. Bhakti yoga, when it comes, means it's about the personalists. So bhakti yoga is something where everybody can actually take part. Bhakti yoga is something anybody and everybody can actually get into this school. This is school of bhakti yoga. Bhakti keeps a space for everyone. There we saw how Sri Krishna is giving one by one the options. He is giving options to the living entities. If you are, the best position is you can always remember me. Lord Sri Krishna tells that you always remember me, always remember the personal form of my Krishna. But many times it's not so easy to remember Krishna. Into our day-to-day activities, we tend to forget him. So then he tells, so if you cannot do that, then do sadhana. You do some regulative devotional service. Get up early in the morning. Chant the names of Lord Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Get some flowers from your garden. Get some fruits. Get some water. and offer it to me with great love, I will accept that. Then hear about me. There are great sages and saints like Srila Prabhupada who has spoken, and their all speeches are recorded. You hear from them early morning. In this way, try to get the desire to attain me, and surely you will get to success. If you are not able to even do this, then you work for me. If you are not able to even work for me, then you give out the result of your work to me. And even if you are not able to give that, you at least try to be detached from the fruits of your work. Try to give to some higher causes. If you are not able to even do that, then you need to have you need to cultivate knowledge, because you don't have any knowledge that you are not this body, you are soul. You are not the controller, maintainer, and enjoyer of this world. So then Lord Krishna just try to get the knowledge. So in this way, Lord Sri Krishna. So more we going down, more we are going, lower in the options given by Krishna. Farther we are from the ultimate destination of liberation or returning back to Godhead. So this is very, very important for us to understand that how much it is important to chant the names of Lord Hari, to do devotional service, which is actually just on the penultimate platform, from the topmost platform. It's just on threshold of liberation. Chanting the names of Lord Hari, offering bhoga to the Lord, taking prasadam, and all these wonderful pleasurable activities, hearing about Krishna. It's so simple. It's so simple. It doesn't require you doesn't require to go to Himalaya and do these all things. But these are very, very powerful activities that Sri Krishna describes to us. Then we see from 13th to 20th sloka in Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter. So there are qualities which endears one to Krishna, that is described. That there are somewhere around 20, not 20, some 20, 26 qualities. Yeah. So these many qualities which endears Krishna. If those qualities, if we get, then what happens? Krishna starts liking us. So there are very wonderful qualities what we discussed. Yeah. And the top quality is serving Krishna. Yeah. So now we are going to see 13th chapter. Yeah. 13th chapter is also divided into 4 sections. So the first section, that's called field and knower of the field. Field and a knower of the field. Technically in Sanskrit that is called a Chhatra and Chhatragya. What is the Chhatra and Chhatragya? We'll be seeing. Secondly, from 8th sloka to 19th sloka we are going to see elements and objects of knowledge. Then from 20th to 26th we are going to see nature, enjoyer and their interactions. So there is something called nature, an enjoyer of the nature, and their interaction between all of them. Yeah. So from 20th to 26th sloka, then in 4th section we are going to see vision of knowledge. Yeah. So now let's proceed ahead to the first section. Field and knower of the field. Chhatra and Chhatragya. What is that? Arjuna Vacha. Again Arjuna is starting. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetragyameva Cha Etad Veditum Ichchami Jnanam Geyam Cha Keshava. Arjuna said, "Oh my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, field and the knower of the field, knowledge and the object of knowledge." So these are the 6 questions Arjuna is asking to Krishna. What is that? What is nature? Who is enjoyer? What is the field? Who is the knower of the field? What is knowledge and what is object of knowledge? So there are 6 questions which were asked. What is nature? What is enjoyer? Purusha? What is field? Chhatra? What is knower of the field? Kshetragya? What is knowledge? And what is object of knowledge? So you can note it down, because all 6 things only are going to be discussed in this particular chapter. Yeah. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha idam shariram kaunteya kshetram mitya vidhiyate etadyo vetitam prahu kshetragya iti tadvidaha. The Supreme Personality of God, it said, the body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field. Wow, so what is this? So this body, everybody, all of us, we have body, right? We are into body. So this body is the field in which we work. Yeah, field is the place where people they work. So this body is the field, and there are knowers of the body also who know about this body. Yeah. So there are different type of people, they know differently their body. Somebody is thinking that I am a man, somebody is thinking I am happy, somebody is thinking I am girl, somebody is thinking I am man and I am a boy. The cat is thinking I am cat. Somebody is thinking I am very much sorrowful. Dog is thinking, someone in the dog body is thinking that he is dog. So in this way, we see there is one type of knower of the body, and that is called soul. So this is called wrong conception, the wrong knower. I mean the tiny knower of the field, which is called soul. So one knower is soul, another knower is super soul. So that's going to be discussed. So here we see this is the person. Yes, so you are able to see here. I think all of you are able to see here. So this is the person. Yeah? He is sleeping here. He is working here. So with all of us, I mean, in all of our like bodies, super soul and soul both are there. So both are actually knower of the field. We are tiny knowers, and super soul is super knower. They are the two knowers of the field. So this knower of the field, when he is conditioned, then he starts thinking himself to be like this, like this, like this. So, but supreme knower is Sri Krishna. That Sri Krishna tells, Kshetragyam chapimam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetra gyor jnanam yat jnanam matam mama. O Siyana Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. And to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion. So I think it's getting quite clear with you all. So just like Srila Prabhupada gives the example of the state. In any state, the king is the sole proprietor. Like now there's this king system is not there, the kingdom system is not there. But before, previously, there used to be. So the whole land of the particular state was actually belonging to the king. And also in small sections, those states were divided. There, some people were cultivating, some people are doing different things. So here we see this person is actually a farmer. He is also knower of the field. But the king is a super knower of the field. Yeah, he is also doing something. But even though he's not exactly doing, he's not actively so much doing into this, but he's actually super knower of the field. Under his supervision, everything is happening. So this is the example we see of our body. In our body, we are there, we are knowing little bit. We are knowing maybe outside something, but inside so many things are happening that we are not knowing, right? So we are in the small, tiny knower of the field. But the super soul is the super knower, supreme knower of the field. And also Srila Prabhupada gives this very beautiful example. Painter, the painting an easel. So painter is the person who paints the particular canvas. And how he paints? He paints with the easel. He paints with the painting instrument. And then comes out the painting, the canvas. So painter is supreme Godhead. Painter is supreme Godhead. Painting is Prakriti. Now we are able to see the different beautiful bodies, Somebody is ugly, somebody is beautiful, somebody is in tree form, somebody in the animal form, somebody in the small little scorpion form, somebody. So these are all are actually different. Components of the prakriti. This all makes prakriti. This is called painting, and this painting has been done by what? With an easel. What is that idol? We are the idol, the Purusha. We are the souls are the idol. So in the dead matter, the souls are embedded into it by the Supreme God, and things gets animated. Painting is created, right? So foolish people sometimes they misunderstand this. That's why Srila Prabhupada tells one should not confuse between painter, the painting, and idol. All three are different things. Painter is Ishvara, painting is Prakriti, and idol is Purusha, the person, the living entity. So now Lord promises to describe. He has already described some few things. Then he tells that I will surely describe these all things to you, Arjuna. Now please hear my brief description of the field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it's produced, who that knower of the field of activity is, and what his influences are. And Sri Krishna quotes authority. Even Krishna is supreme authority. He is the supreme authority of Vedic knowledge. But still, when it comes to speak the knowledge, he is quoting other authorities. How he is telling? Rishibhir bahuda gitam chando bhir vividhai prithak brahma sutra padesh chaiva hetu madbhir vinishchitaiha. That knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is especially presented in Vedanta Sutra with all reasonings as to cause and effect. Yeah. So, supreme being a supreme authority, he would have told just like that. But still, he is quoting previous authorities, and in this way, he is teaching. So that the previous authority like Parashar, Ved Vyas, Ved Vyas, the person who compiles Vedanta Sutra, or that's called Brahma Sutra also. So in the Brahma Sutra, this all these different what's called the principles are delineated. So how they are delineated with small sutra, small formularies. So Lord Sri Krishna is quoting those great sages along with the scriptures. The life lesson for all of us is that our speech should be backed by previous authorities, acharyas. Yeah. Otherwise, no, it's not like whatever you feel like. Nowadays in India, if you ask someone that who is God, who is this demigod, or who is that God, or this and that, all have something to speak. They do not care for quoting any scripture. They do not have any courage of quoting any acharya. They simply start speaking as if they are the authorities. And in this way, they just try to impress that they also know something without having given any reference. The first thing we must understand, our speech should be backed by the previous authorities, acharyas. Otherwise, things created by mental speculation have no efficacy for spiritual elevation. So that's very, very important for all of us, that spiritual elevation cannot take place unless we quote different scriptures in the line of authorities. Then it becomes powerful. Now let's proceed ahead. What Sri Krishna tells ahead. Field of activities and their interactions. So Lord Sri Krishna quotes from Chandobi, Brahmasutra, and from Brahmasutra and the Upanishads. He tells the 5 great elements, Mahabhuta, false ego, ahankara. You are able to see the simple Sanskrit, and their translations are written over here. Buddhi avyaktamevacha, intelligence, the unmanifested. The 10 senses, indriyani, dasaikam, the 10 senses. Dasaikam cha pancha chandriya gocharaha. The 5 senses of sense objects, desire, hatred, ichha, dvesha, sukham, dukkham, happiness, distress, the aggregate, sanghata, chetana, the consciousness, the life symptoms, that's called consciousness, conviction, dhritihi, etat chetram samasena savikar mudaritam. So all these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions. So what are those we are going to see one by one. So Lord Shri Krishna is telling, so these are the 24 components of field of activities. So we have described that field of activity. Lord Shri Krishna has told already that field of activities in this body. But this body is made up of these all 24 material elements. There are 5 Mahabhut, Panch Mahabhut. What is that Panch Mahabhut? Everybody know, all of you, hopefully everybody of you know, because in previous sections in 7th chapter also we have discussed. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Earth, water, fire, air and ether. These are called Panch Mahabhut or 5 Mahabhut. Yeah. So 5 gross material objects. Then comes false ego, intelligence, unmanifested modes of nature, that's called Pradhan. And then come minds. False ego, intelligence, unmanifested modes of nature, Pradhan, and mind. The 4 over. Then comes 5 knowledge acquiring senses. 5 knowledge acquiring senses. What are the 5 knowledge acquiring senses? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. By these 5 senses only we get inputs in. We get knowledge. Something is cold or hot. Something is far or close. Something is red or yellow. Something is loud or feeble. So all this, something bitter or sour, we get knowledge from these all 5 knowledge acquiring senses, and there is no other way to get into it. Yeah. So these are 5 knowledge acquiring senses. There are 5 working senses. Voice, that's how I am speaking now, using my one of the working senses, that's called voice. Mouth, legs, when I need to go ahead, go out from the room, then I use legs. Hands, to show something, to express something, to take prasadam, for all different activities, hands are used. Anus for evacuation, and genitals for procreation and some other stuff. So these are the 5 working senses. 5 working senses, all the living entities they get. Then comes 5 objective senses. Objective senses means these all senses upon which it actually work upon. Yeah, that's called objective senses. Like smell, nose work upon smell, taste, tongue, form, our eyes, touch, skin, sound, ears. So these are 5 objective senses. Altogether, if we'll sum it up, this is called 24 material elements, and that's called components of field of activities. Yeah. And these all field of activities, they interact with each other and they create this all stuff here in the right hand side. What are that? Desire, hatred, happiness, distress. Then aggregate life symptoms and conviction. So these are all, how many are there? Somewhere around 7 things are there. So this is actually created not by us, it's not created by us, it's not created by soul, but it's created by field of activities. These are created by matter. Wow, what a wonderful matrix is this. Matrix of matter. So this is actually creation of external potential of Lord. It's so wonderful. It's so wonderful. So life lesson for all of us is that without true knowledge, we are in that dark matrix of Maya. So we are actually trapped into this matrix of Maya. Maya means the external energy of Sri Krishna, Mahamaya. So what we need to do then? We have to break the matrix. We need to break the matrix by true knowledge. Otherwise, we are simply into it. We are able to see here desire, hatred, happiness, distress, life symptoms are shown. So these all things. There is no liberation. After every death, we take another body. Again, we live for some years. Then again, we need to die. So this go on in the Maya matrix. So we need to get into knowledge. That's why Sri Krishna is going to go ahead with knowledge in the next section. Section 2, elements and objects of knowledge. from 8th sloka till 19th sloka. So here we see 20 elements of knowledge is described by Sri Krishna. 20 elements of knowledge. Very, very important for all of us to uh, remember this. What are the 20 elements of knowledge? So, what are those? Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master. You can very easily here you are able to corroborate it. Amanitvam madambitvam ahimsa chantirarjavam acharyopashanam shaucham sthairya matvam nigraha. So these are the 20 elements of knowledge: humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, perception of evil of birth, death, old age and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home and rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, philosophical research of the absolute truth. So all these I declare to be knowledge, and a very much what's called prophetic word Krishna is going to tell. And besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. Wow, what is this? So what about our college studies? What about so many things we keep studying and we tell that this is knowledge? And Sri Krishna is telling here, Etad jnanamiti proktam. This is all knowledge. Ajnanam yadato anyatha. Whatever rest, everything is there is called ajnana, it's ignorance. It's very much prophetic. So we see here, so there are all 20 elements of knowledge. You are able to see, just like sun, and from the sun, all the different luminaries they get light. Other luminaries, they're actually they're dummy luminaries. Actually, they're not luminaries. So all the different stars and the moon, they get light from the sun only. So similarly, all these 20 qualities, all these 19 qualities are getting their light and their power from one quality. What is that one quality? It is mentioned somewhere in between. What is that? Unalloyed devotion to Krishna. So somebody is having this unalloyed devotion to Krishna, then automatically he will have all these qualities. All these qualities. This is the secret of getting all this knowledge. Yeah. So this is called process of knowledge as well as elements of knowledge. If somebody having unalloyed devotion to Krishna, then he will have all the knowledge. That's why it is told that evam vigyatam sarvam evam vigyatam bhavantu. After getting knowledge of Krishna, when I have all the knowledge, right? So these all things. Once again, I will tell for you all: humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching the bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadfastness, self-control, renunciation, false ego, less false ego, yeah. PDOD. Okay, I'm getting some noise out there. Okay, hopefully it's fine now. So I request devotees to keep unmuted for time being. So evil of BDOD, birth, death, old age and disease. So how this BDOD is actually giving a lot of trouble to us to understand that. Then detachment, to remain detached from mundane things, freedom from worldly entanglements, even minded in pleasant and unpleasant events, solitary aspiration, detachment from general crowd, accepting the importance of self-realization, philosophical research of absolute truth. So these are all actually the 20 elements of knowledge. And rest, whatever is there except these all 20 elements is called ignorance. So now let's proceed ahead. Actually, if I need to take every one one knowledge aspect, then it will take another 1 hour. So it will go 20 classes. So it's upon you all now that you can go and read Bhagavad Gita and get more insight Srila Prabhupada is giving there. So let's proceed ahead. The next slide. Know the knowable and test the nectar, its eternal nectar. Yeah. Lord Sri Krishna tells, so Arjuna, know the knowables. Now, I have told you what is called knowledge, what are the elements of knowledge, and what are the object of knowledge. That also actually I am going to tell you. By knowing this, you will get eternal nectar. You will get eternal nectar, unlimited nectar. Yeah. So hopefully all of you are actually aspirant of unlimited nectar. If you are, then please let me know by writing the chat box. If you are aspirant of, then please write in the chat box AS. Then I will proceed ahead quickly. Yeah. Let's see how many of you are up. Okay, Vikram Jaiswal is ready. Ashradul is also, yeah, fine. Sujay, okay. Thank you so much, all of you. Yeah, all of you are the real aspirants. So let's proceed ahead. Let's drink some eternal nectar. All of you are ready. Okay, fine. So Krishna is telling, I shall now explain the knowable, knowing which you will test the eternal. Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Yeah. So let's proceed ahead. So here it starts. Very wonderful, high-class philosophy. That's you need to be quite bit, open-minded to understand this. Sarvatah panipadam tat sarvatokshi shiro mukham sarvata shrutimaloke sarvam avritta tishtati. So Sri Krishna is telling now about his own self. Lord is how he's pervaded throughout everywhere. He tells everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, his heads and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everything. Sarva avrittatishtati. Supreme Lord is pervaded everywhere. This usually people they keep speaking, Supreme Lord is everywhere, Lord is everywhere, but hardly they have any realization, and they keep doing all nonsense things. If Supreme Lord is everywhere, then how could they do that? Yeah. So that's very, very important for all of us to understand it through disciplic succession, through the acharyas. Then only that knowledge is having some efficacy. Otherwise, it's like a dry knowledge. So life lesson for all of us is that whatever we pray to the Supreme Lord, whatever we offer to the Supreme Lord here, is actually accepted by the Supreme Lord. Why? Because even though he is in Goloka Vrindavan, because his senses are spiritual, his senses are not like this, not like us. Like I am seated on the chair here, my senses cannot approach after some 1 kilometer ahead. No, we cannot see after some 12 kilometers. Horizon is seen. There is nothing called horizon. It's our conception. There is nothing called horizon. You see, if Supreme Lord has to see, he will see everything throughout. And his is not like his eyes are like this much of domain. No, his eyes are everywhere, and that is having unlimited qualities to see everything and everywhere. So being also in Golok Vrindavan, he is actually as if his eyes are everywhere, his hands are everywhere, his legs are everywhere, because his all these senses are spiritual senses. It's not like our senses, like we are having some conditions, not some conditions. Every condition is there. Now we are just a small little tiny, small little jiva in one of the corner, in not like in a speck of the dust. But many times people, the foolish people, they start putting their conditioning on the Supreme God. And they start saying, how could be Supreme God be personal? Useless fellow, Supreme God is of course personal, but it's not like you. You don't try to put your understanding upon Supreme Lord. So that's why life lesson is, your local offering with love is accepted golokally. Means our local offering, whatever we offer to the Supreme Lord, Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita 9 chapter, that you offer me patram pushpam phalam toyam. You offer me leaves, fruits, the patram pushpam, flowers and water. I will accept it. How will accept it? Like this he will accept it. Because his mouth is everywhere. His hands is everywhere. It's not like us. So locally we offer and it accepted golokally. Means in Goloka Vrindavan it's accepted. Yeah. So now let's proceed ahead. Lord is transcendental to the mundane. The super soul is the original source of the senses, yet is without senses. There are some oxymorons would be seen here with you all. He is unattached, although he is maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of the modes of nature. So here we see these are oxymorons. Oxymorons means something two contrastly opposite things, opposite qualities at one place. Like you tell that there was so much light, there was so much light that it was too. It was like it was. I'm not able to see anything. If light is there, how it so that happened that you are not able to see anything? Yeah. So it was pitch dark light. So it's called oxymoron. Nothing. It cannot happen. Pitch dark light. But Supreme God is the person with whom all the oxymorons they come together. Yeah. The super soul is the original source of senses. He is the source of senses, but his senses are all transcendental senses. His senses are not like us. Yeah. So that's why he is sometimes called to be without senses, without mundane senses. He is unattached. He is the maintainer of all living beings. Like suppose somebody is housewife, somebody is husband of housewife, somebody is father of some kids. He is maintaining them. Like a mother is maintaining their children. So while they're maintaining the children, they get attached with the children. But here Supreme Lord is maintaining everyone, but he is not attached with anyone. Yeah, he is supremely detached. So he is maintainer of all beings. At the same time, he is unattached. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he is master of the modes of material nature. He is a master, but he is actually not into it. Yeah. So now let's proceed ahead. How Lord Sri Krishna is far, far off, but he is the closest of all, nearest to all. The supreme truth exists outside and inside of all living beings, the moving and the non-moving. Because he is the subtle, is beyond the power of material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all. Bahirantasya bhutanam acharam charamevacha shukshmatvad adaviggyam durastam chantike chatat. But for those whose eyes has been tainted by love, by the intense love and devotion for the Supreme Lord, these people, they can see the Supreme Lord even though he's far, far away. They can see the Supreme Lord constantly. They can see the Supreme Lord. And it's not like they are some alien type of people. They are not existing in the world. Yeah, they exist in the world. They are able to see the Supreme Lord face to face, like we are able to see each other, right? So these people are they exist. How? Because they have transcended also similarly as Sri Krishna is transcendental. So because their proximity with the Supreme Lord, with the devotion, they're able to see the Supreme Lord. So now let's proceed ahead to the next section. Krishna, he is the maintainer and the devourer also. Now, how could we do things at the same place? He maintains, and the person who maintains doesn't divorce, right? Supposedly. But he is the person who divorces also. Although the super soul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. He is situated as one. Although he is the maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he devours and develops also. The Supreme Personality of God maintains everything, and at the time of dissolution, at the time of universal cataclysm, everything just goes inside. It comes out from him at the time of creation, and at the time of dissolution, everything helplessly, they merge into his body of Mahavishnu. So Grasishnu Prabhavishnu cha. So he is Vishnu, who maintains everything, and at the same time he devotes everything. So Krishna, the source of all light, and he is source of all light. He is source of all light luminaries. He is beyond the darkness of matter and unmanifested. He is knowledge, and he is the object of knowledge. He is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. So this knowledge is only understood by devotees. So Lord Sri Krishna tells all those things I am telling you, Arjuna. But to actually understand this, only devotee can do this. Only devotion. The people, those who have devotion, they only can understand this. Thus, the field of activities, Madbhakta etad vigyaya. Madbhakta, those people, those are my devotees, they only can understand this science. Madbhavyopapaddate. Because This is the science of Dvaita Vedanta, in which what is knowledge, what is knowable, what is filled, who are the different knower of the field, are differently mentioned, and they are not one. Filled, knower of the field, knowledge, knowables are not one. They are all different entities. So only devotees could understand this science nicely. So section 3. Let's proceed. Nature, enjoyers and their interactions. So this section is very, very important for all of us. If you get this particular concept hacked, then at the last Sri Krishna tells that the person is sure and certain to get liberated. Sure and certain. It's very, very important concepts that's going to get revealed in subsequent slides. Very, very important. So Lord Sri Krishna tells in text 20, material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Material nature, what you are able to see here, there are bricks, there are buildings, there are trees, there are creepers, there are elephant, there is trees, so many, they all makes what's called prakriti. Then the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. So these all are different transformations. Transformation because of union of matter plus living entities. So they all both of them are eternal. Both are eternal. They are from time, eternity. So nature is said to be the cause of material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyments of this world. So nature is working by its own. There is a machine, there is a software given by Sri Krishna himself, very heavy software. So into this software, some kind of people, the living entities are put into it, and they are having very hard time. What are they getting? They are getting sometimes happiness, little happiness, and sometimes a lot of miseries. Sukha dukkhanam bhoktritve hetu ruchyate. So we are all Purusha, the so-called Purusha. So we are into this nature, and because of our own karma, because of our own acts, we are suffering and sometimes enjoying. So we are enjoying and suffering because of association of modes. And how it working? Because of different modes we are actually associating with: mode of passion, mode of goodness, and mode of ignorance. Mode of passion, mode of ignorance, mode of goodness. So these are three modes we are trying to enjoy, but actually, in fact, we are false enjoyers. We are able to see here, this fellow is somehow got into mode of ignorance. So Supreme Lord is seeing everything. He's trying to enjoy. He's thinking that he is enjoying, but in next life, because he's thinking that he is ignorant enjoyer, he is actually not knowing that he is ignorant enjoyer, but he's fully ignorant. So he'll get the body of a dog. Now in the dog body, he's thinking that he's just dog. In dog body, he cannot just think like a man. In man body, he will automatically, by default, he will think like a man. Now you got the dog body, you don't have any other option. He will go and bark. He just go and shout. He will just roam around after sex. So that's it. So he is enjoyer. He is called Purusha. So here in this chapter, Sri Krishna is making mock of living entities. So these living entities are thinking themselves to be the Purusha, the enjoyer. But what are they enjoying? They are enjoying the suffering, right? So see this fellow here. If this person, he want to eat anything and everything, so he gets the next body like a pig. Useless fellow. Human body not meant for doing spiritual emancipation. You landed up doing eating everything and anything anywhere. So you take a pig body. And a pig body, you don't have any other option other than eating stool. So you can't do anything. Now somebody is thinking, I could enjoy a better way. No, I will give some charity. I will open some schools. I will open some drinking outlets. So in this way, I will enjoy the higher things. So they will also get, because they are doing so-called good activities, they will get some better facilities in the future, for sure. They will get even heavens also. But there also they are trying to lord over the material nature. So there also they are suffering. They again had to come back into the earthly planet. So in this way, people's hang up is this, our hang up is this, that we are thinking that we are enjoyers, but we are actually false enjoyers. We are thinking that we will enjoy, but we land up suffering. That's why it is told we are bhukt bhogi. We are thinking that we are bhoktas, but we are not bhoktas, we are bhukt bhogis. So here we see. But if we leave this concept of being enjoyer and we take up the concept of being enjoyed by Supreme God, then our liberation is boom, guaranteed. So here comes the what's called the critical point of understanding. Purusha. Supreme Purusha is there is only one Purusha. He is Krishna. And rest, all of us, we are actually the part of Prakriti. There is two things, Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti is to be enjoyed and Purusha is the enjoyer. And we are the part of Prakriti. For the crows, for the dogs, we are also like other animal, part of Prakriti. But a dog is thinking he is enjoyer, man is thinking he is enjoyer, woman is thinking he is enjoyer, trees are thinking he is enjoyer, and this way people are hanging around here, thinking themselves to be enjoyer, but actually suffering a lot. So this particular concept is very, very important for all of us to understand, that actually we are false enjoyers. We are Purusha. Here Krishna is mocking us, telling us Purusha. But now Krishna is going to tell us who is the true enjoyer, the true Purusha. Updrashta anumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwarah paramatmeti chapi yukto dehe asmin purusha paraha. Yet in this body there is another transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as super soul. So he is the enjoyer. This enjoyer is the real enjoyer. He is the real enjoyer. He is the Lord. He is the supreme proprietor. The person who is a proprietor of something, he is the one enjoyer, right? Nothing belongs to us. We have been given this body. We have been given this land. We have been given this building. We have been given this father and mother. Everything has been given. But after coming, then we start thinking that now I am the enjoyer. You just follow you from where you come. When you created these all things that you could, claim proprietorship and you start enjoying. So when we start enjoying, forgetting the real enjoyer, then we create our hang up. So this is very much what's called very, very difficult situation for all of us. So the real enjoyer is person who is just sitting beside us in our heart. He's Paramatma. He's always seeing the soul, that what this useless fellow is doing. You are able to see here, there are two birds sitting on the same branch. One is eating different fruits, sometimes bitter fruits, sometimes sour fruits, sometimes sweet fruits. And here is another bird, he is Paramatma. Both of theirs nature is same. Both are Satchidananda. But one is dependent enjoyer, another is the supreme, eternal and independent enjoyer, Krishna, Paramatma. And this fellow, this bird is Bhukta. He is Bhukta Bhogi. And here is Bhukta. He is the real enjoyer here. So both are there together. Paramatma being as a Paramatma, Lord Sri Krishna is always accompanying us. And he's seeing that when this fellow will turn toward me, I don't know how many times, how many life and how many fruits will enjoy. Sometimes going to hell, sometimes going here, sometimes going to there, sometimes eating stool, sometimes eating all nonsense, garbage. When he will understand me to be the supreme enjoyer, when he will understand himself to be the enjoyer, so then he will able to return toward me. So in this way, the true enjoyer is Updrashta. He just seeing, overseeing us. Anumanta. And if you feel like, okay, I want to become a dacoit. So Krishna tells, okay, I will give you intelligence how you can become a first-class dacoit. So he's just giving all that different ideas. He's Anumanta, he's sanctioner. I want to drink wine. So, okay, he will tell that useless fellow, you will drink wine, this will happen, that will happen. But still, if you want to say, okay, I will facilitate you, go ahead. So if you don't listen, then if you want, then you want to enjoy this, that. So okay, human body is not good for this all. Useless fellow, go and take animal body. You enjoy better there. You try to enjoy better there. So this is our situation. Yeah. So this is called Bhukta. We are Bhukta. And here is Bhukta here, Sri Krishna, the real enjoyer. So he's things, all things. So our real enjoyment is actually being enjoyed only. Yeah. So when we are enjoyed by Sri Krishna, then the real enjoyment, the eternal enjoyment, that's the promise of Sri Krishna in the beginning of this section. That if you understand this, you will be able to get the link and the password of eternal nectar. Eternal nectar. So if you understand this, liberation is guaranteed. Sri Krishna once again is telling. If you understand this, it's a very simple thing. If you do not understand, still you can ask questions later on. But Sri Krishna is again telling, one who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, living entity, and the interactions of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. Sure, it's sure. Sarvatha vartamanopi na sab huyo abhijayate. Na sab huyo abhijayate. He will not again take birth. Yeah. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present condition. He might be in any condition long. He might be working, he might be student, he might be housewife, he might be husband, anything. He might be father, anything. But if you understand this particular philosophy now, today, this guarantees your liberation. So, now let's proceed ahead. The next section, different ways of perceiving supersoul. Some perceive the supersoul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and still other through working without fruitive desires. So now Krishna is telling how one can approach me. Again, there are those who, although not convergent in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. So this hearing process is very, very important for all of us. Hearing process is very, very important. So before we have seen Lord Sri Krishna has told karma yogis, jnana yogis, dhyana yogis, they try to approach Sri Krishna. But those who are simply hearers, just like we are hearing now, Arjuna is hearing Krishna. So they are Shruti Parayana. They are attached to hearing. The attachment to hearing about Krishna is very, very important. So they also transcend the modes of material nature. Yeah. So here we are able to see this is called hearing disciplic succession. Lord Sri Krishna told to Brahma, Brahma told to Narada. This is the hearing process. Brahma is speaking and heard by Narada. Krishna spoke, heard by Brahma. Narada spoke, heard by Vyasdev. Vyasdev spoke, heard by Madhvacharya. And in this way, this hearing process is coming. And whoever gets contact with this hearing process from bona fide disciplic succession authority, which is coming down from spiritual world, from Golok Vrindavan, from Sri Krishna, all the way through Brahma, Narada, Vyas, they all get the same result of coming out from repeated cycle of birth and death. Isn't it such an amazing thing? Just by hearing. Just by hearing. Even Brahma himself tells that, Baba, you don't need to go anywhere. Sthane sthita srutigatam tanuman manobi. Just be anywhere. Just try to hear about Sri Krishna. Just try to hear about Sri Krishna. Jnane prayasham udapase namanta eva. Jivanti san mukharitam bhavadiya vartam. Hare Krishna, sorry for disturbance. And this is material nature, what we cannot do anything. Yeah. Wow. Somehow it came back again. Hare Krishna. So let's proceed ahead. So we had been discussing that Shruti Parayana. This is very, very important for all of us, for devotees to understand, because we cannot go to Himalaya to meditate. We cannot just keep speculating that no, we have to work, we have to remain detached, and Krishna. So we have to give out the fruits of activities. So these all things, it's very, very difficult for all of us to do. But if we'll just hear about Sri Krishna, then things starts taking place automatically. Yeah. So this hearing process is very, very important. So now let's proceed ahead. In the fourth section of today's discussion, vision of knowledge, Lord Sri Krishna is telling, O chief of Bharatas, know that whatever you see in existence, both the moving and the non-moving, is only a combination of the field of activities and the knower of the field. So whatever we are able to see here in this world is just nothing but field of activity, that's called matter, and knower of the field. There are two knowers of the field: soul and super soul, Atma and Paramatma. Yeah. So these only three things are there. Yeah. That's what we are able to see. Everything is equal to field plus knower of the fields. Field means the activity, the matter, and matter plus soul and super soul makes everything in this world. So now let's proceed ahead. So by knowing this knowledge, one actually comes out from this material tabernacle. Then Sri Krishna tells who is a seer? One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. So who is the real seer? Who actually able to see not just body. This is because this just body is just a matter, just Panch Mahabhut, and there are some more 24 elements. But these 24 elements are always, changeable. Actually, it's not the eternal thing. It always keeps changing. But what is permanent thing, and those who are actually real seers, actual seers, they see the soul as well as the super soul. Both are there with every entity. So they are the real seers. And one who sees the super soul equally present everywhere, in every living being, does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination. This is the secret of non-degradation. Usually people, they see the bodies. Somebody is beautiful, somebody is ugly, somebody is thin, somebody is fat. So we see the bodies and we start contemplating everything upon the level of matter. But this is actually not the right way of seeing. We will be seeing in the future how this is actually seeing in the mode of ignorance and passion. But the real seers are those who see right into the heart. There is soul and super soul. Things seems very, very difficult, right? Seems quite a bit of mental exercise. But if somebody practices like this, then he will not degrade in his mind. Usually we get degraded. We get into lusty thoughts. Many times we get it with anger. But if we see that actually everything is being done by the imperceptible forces, and ultimately with the help of super soul, there is actually matter not involved. So then we can actually remain quite a bit, on a higher platform of consciousness. So this is the secret of non-degradation. Slowly, that person is actually the real aspirant of liberation. He will surely get the eternal nectar. Self does nothing, he is just made to act and do. The one who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created by material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. So once again, the same thing Sri Krishna is telling, that sensible man should not see material body, but he should see that how Supreme Godhead is expanded into different bodies. Yeah, he had expanded his energies as external energy, as well as his superior energy as living entity. He expanded everything, everywhere. So that person attains to the Brahman conception. Then those with a vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. And the two analogies Lord Sri Krishna is giving here, the sky due to its subtle nature does not mix with anything, although it's all pervading. Similarly, the soul situated in the Brahman vision does not mix with the body, though situated in that body. So if somebody has got this vision of seeing the soul and super soul situated in every living entity, that person, even though he is in the body, he is actually not mixed with the body. He's actually liberated person. Just like coconut, there are different stages of coconuts. What's called in coconut shell. I think everybody of you have seen. Yeah. So when it's there in the tree, when it's green, then there is no pulp, there is only water. If you break it, then simply you will get nothing. No, you will get simply water. When it's get little hardened, little get matured, then you start getting what's called inside pulp. Then it gets more and more matured. Then what happens? It fully gets dried, and you get water as well as the shell inside is quite very hard. Then again, you just leave it like this. Then what happens? Inside water gets fully evaporated, and inside that there is shell is automatically out. And if you'll shake the coconut like this, no, it will create some sound. It will create some sound, duck 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 duck, like that. Means even though that person is in the body, is actually a liberated person. Like he is doing duck 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 duck. I mean, he is actually seeing things as it is. The problem is that people are seeing something which is actually not. This is called matrix. They are into matrix. But if we start seeing things in connection with the person who is creator of matrix, if you will start seeing the super soul, then that person is the real seer. And that person is actually the person who is going to go liberated. Yeah. So that's very, very important. This is called the Jnana Satak and the knowledge. This is all knowledge that can help us to advance in Krishna consciousness toward liberation till some extent. Till some extent, even though it seems like too much like exercise, but still we should have some knowledge about it. But bhakti itself, what we have already discussed, bhakti itself is sufficient to give all perfections. So we don't need to get hopeless about it, that this is quite a little bit a lot of what's called doesn't seems to like feasible things. So at last Sri Krishna is telling, O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so that the living entity, one within the body, illuminates the entire body by consciousness. So in this way, the soul is very tiny, but its influence is such that it can maintain and it can animate very big bodies. Like a small little, same soul which is there in microbes, which is there in virus, the same soul is there in elephant. The same soul is there in a whale. The same soul is there could be in a living mountain. Yeah, mountains are also living. So the same soul, the soul is very powerful. The same soul illuminates the entire body by consciousness. At last, Chetra Chetra Gayorve Antaram Jnana Chakshusha Bhuta Prakritim Moksham Cha Ye Viduryanti Te Param. Those who see with the eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body can also understand the process of liberation from bondage in material nature, attain to the supreme goal. Yeah. So, if we understand this particular knowledge, then supreme goal is attained. What are the different things discussed? Sri Krishna is again giving this conclusion. Lord Sri Krishna is giving a summary of his today's presentation. What is telling? Those people who see with the eyes of knowledge difference between the body and the knower of the body, means the field and the knower of the field, can also understand the process of liberation. So ultimately, this is called the process of liberation. Then after this stage comes bhakti, devotional service, which can give us the supreme goal. So today we understood the 4 sections: field and knower of the field, elements and objects of knowledge, nature, enjoyer and their interaction, vision of knowledge. Yeah. So I'll tell quite very briefly in very short period of time, because Kshetra and Kshetragya, field and knower of the field. So this body is the field. There are 2 knowers of the field, soul and super soul. Then we saw elements and objects of knowledge. There are 20 elements of knowledge, and objects of knowledge are 2, soul and super soul once again. Then we saw nature, enjoyer and their interactions. Nature is whatever you are able to see. There are 2 enjoyers. One is mock enjoyer, that we soul, and one is real enjoyer, the super soul. So we are trying to enjoy, but we are actually getting a lot of suffering. So there Sri Krishna is telling that one should understand this very nicely, so that one can get liberated from this material tabernacle. Then we saw from 27 to 35th sloka, vision of knowledge, how one can see things. So The person, what is the symptom of people, those who are actually aspirant of liberation? How he sees the things, how he sees the world, how he sees the Prakriti, how he sees other living entities. He see the combination of soul and super soul everywhere, and just matter is around it, and things are animated. And in this way, he remains always on the transcendental platform. He doesn't degrades himself, having this consciousness, having this vision. Yeah. So we'll stop here. Thank you so much, all of you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you so much, all of you, to bear with me, having so much patience. Hare Krishna. If you have any question, any comment, you can still speak, or else you can write on the chat box. And you are always free
can
to
we
write
go through this
and speak anything in the WhatsApp group anyway. Yeah. Anybody speaking? Hare Krishna. Bikram?
Yeah, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Can we go through this section once again someday, maybe later on?
Can you please speak louder, Prabhu? So that somehow I'm not able to hear nicely. Yeah. Can you please tell?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. I'm telling this. Can we go ahead with this section once again, maybe someday later?
Yeah. Today
This
there
is
was a
very
lot
interesting.
of disturbances. Yeah, we can go. There is no problem. Yeah. And if you have any question, clarification, you can also ask in the WhatsApp group. I will be more than happy to answer those questions. Yeah.
Sure, Prabhuji. Sure.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Gaur Premanand.